Hello, everyone. My name is Isaiah Hall, and I'm sitting here with two-time Olympic gold medalist, three-division undisputed champion, Claressa Shields. She's out of Flint, Michigan, and she's got a big-time fight coming up. Uh, that fight is going to be happening on July 26th against Lani Daniels. She is the light heavyweight champion. So can you just tell me a little bit about your opponent? What do you know about her, and how you can prepare for that?
Lani Daniels is from New Zealand. She's 11-2. She lost two fights early in her career, but she's been able to fight her way back to the top and become a heavyweight world champion, a light heavyweight world champion. And she's tough. She's athletic, and she has a great country behind her. And she's saying she's gonna come to the U.S. and cause mayhem and beat me up.
And she would have to do that in your hometown, on your own stomping grounds, right here in Detroit. This will be I think, your fourth time in a row fighting in Michigan, and in each one of those fights, you've seemed to have made history. Against Cornejo, it was the first boxing match at LCA. Jonice, you had the jump from middleweight to heavyweight,
Yeah.
and with Perkins, you went undisputed. Uh, so you could have really fought anywhere, but why is it important to have these moments right here in your hometown?
Honestly, every time I've fought in Detroit or up in Flint, it has been history on the line. But for me, I want to sell out LCA, 19,000 seats. That's my main goal for coming back again to LCA. And LCA always welcomes me back. I just want to show that, hey, women's boxing is booming. Claressa Shields is booming. And like the fans are coming out to see women fights, especially my fight. So that's the reason why I came back to Detroit. And yes, I had other opportunities to fight anywhere in the world, but this is just a goal of mine, like that I really want to sell out LCA and I want to show that, hey, kids from Flint, Detroit, Chicago, Memphis, Brooklyn, kids who come from areas like mine, that we can make it anywhere in the world and we can become the best. And we can also sell out arenas and just do all these great things that you see the greats doing, like Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson and guys of that era.
Absolutely. And you said that you've been booming lately. This has been quite the year for you. You had the homecoming fight right after your own movie came out about your life,
Yeah.
The Fire Inside. Just to, those historic moments in your career, when you put them against all the other accolades that you've stacked up, where do those things rank as far as your accomplishments?
You know, I have to say, to me, I like to put things of importance first. I think that to me, what ranks the highest is winning my first Olympic gold medal and my second Olympic gold medal, right? Those rank the highest for me because without those moments, there would be no other moments, if you ask me. These other moments wouldn't be possible without me fighting the Olympics and winning the Olympics. And then, um, even with the biopic, it focuses on my rise to my first Olympics, not my second. Even though at the end of the movie it showed like I'm a 17-time world champion, 5 division world champion, 16-0. It shows all this stuff. But I don't think that they focused on the first Olympics, Um, but what was I gonna say? Um, all of it is so important to me. I really can't say what's more important, but I know that winning that Olympic gold medal 2012 definitely made a difference in my life. And shout out to the Olympics, shout out to the USA boxing, shout out to the Junior Olympics, where I started at. Um, yeah, I think that's where it ranked. But to me, I just kind of like to look forward. Like I can't dwell on all my accomplishments. Oh, you got a biopic before you turn 30. Oh, you got 17 world titles. Oh, you got 5 divisions and 4-time undisputed, but 3-time undisputed in 3 different weight classes. Like if I dwell on all that stuff and all those accomplishments, it can kind of make you get like kind of at a standstill. I'm still pushing myself to be better and be the best and just keep improving, proving my doubters wrong and just being the best boxer that I can be while I have the time, because you can't be great. Like you can't be the greatest forever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Muhammad Ali, yes, but it's like inside the ring, you can't be the greatest forever. There's always going to be somebody else that come up who's now number one. So right now, while I'm young and I'm motivated and I'm hungry, I want to be the best and stay number one, pound for pound, number one woman. And I just want to break all the records that I can. So everything is important, but I think this fight, July 26th, is very important, just as my first Olympic gold medal was.
Wow, okay, that's an interesting way to put it. Um, and you've been able to, you know, be the greatest in your time, you know, while having different adversity and things that you had to get through. Last fight, you actually had a shoulder injury ahead of the fight. So
Yep.
could you just talk a little bit about that? How much did that affect you, and did you have to get surgery or anything like that?
Oh man. So leading up to the fight, a week before the fight, I tore my labrum, and that resulted in me having a frozen shoulder. So I couldn't even lift my arm. You know how I can lift it now. I wasn't able to lift my arm. I wasn't able to jab for at least 3, 4 days. I had to fly to Vegas the week before the fight and get like this shock therapy done on my arm just so it would start moving again. You know, because I didn't want to, call off the fight. Now, if I would have went down there and got the shock therapy and my arm would have stayed frozen, my shoulder, I would have had to call the fight off. But I was able to work with a little bit, and it had some little clicking noises and stuff like that, and it hurt like hell. But after doing the shock therapy and babying it, icy hot and hot bath, all this stuff, massaging it, it was able to work maybe about 20% for the fight. And I felt like maybe that's all I needed for the fight to beat Daniel Perkins. Actually, I actually needed my arm to be 100% because Daniel Perkins was a very hard task. But I knew that I was going to dig deep and make sure that I came out on top with whatever arm I had to use to do that. So I didn't have to get surgery. I went down to the UFC center. Thank you to Dana White. Free of charge. Heather and Jessica was able to do shock therapy on me. I had to do some physical therapy to strengthen my shoulder back up. And right now I'm still strengthening it, but I can do way more stuff than what I was able to do last time with my arm. And it's gonna be good for the fight that I know. So it's recovering very, very well. You know, thank God for my youth. I'm healing up pretty fast. The labrum is still healing up. And right now I'm still babying it, but I'm still strengthening it also. So it's in a good stance. But thank you for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like I said, that's the adversity that you've been through. Um, Even in these historic moments, you've overcome adversity. After you became undisputed heavyweight world title, there was some adversity that you faced. There was a false marijuana suspension that you have now become vindicated for.
Yeah.
That going through that type of challenge, do you have any type of comments about going through something like that and now seeing the other side where you're now fully vindicated of wrongdoing?
Well, one thing I will say is that, you know, I carry myself at a high standard. And when I say the greatest woman of all time, I don't just mean like inside the ring, but also outside the ring. And the truth is the truth, no matter how you slice it, dice it, whatever. And I knew that when I first heard the news, me and my team, from me, my nutritionist, my manager, my coaches, when we heard that I tested positive for marijuana, we all laughed because when I do my camps, I do my camps in a camp house, right? And I don't even allow smoking in our house, even around me. So the fact that it came back to be marijuana, like I'm sitting there smoking a blunt, was just crazy. And we all laughed about it, but it was a serious matter. And they did try to ruin my reputation with that. You know, all these media people, posting all this stuff about me being positive, and then at first it was rumored that it was a PED. So that would really look crazy. So I had to deal with two different things. First, I had to deal with the rumor. Then when I found that it was marijuana, I had to deal with all these networks picking it up because for some reason your girl is always trending and people love talking about little old me. And they were saying all this stuff. But for me, I was like, look, the truth is the truth. I dealt with it. I went and got all the paperwork. I proved my innocence way before I went to trial. When I found out about the results, I went and took a urine test the day after, and it came back to be negative for marijuana. So that's really all I needed because the marijuana test goes back 30 days. So when I got the news February 9th, February 10th, I went and took tests. And if it goes back 30 days, that means that from the 10th all the way back to February 10th, or no, January 10th, I didn't have any marijuana in my system, and that's what the urine can trace. So I definitely went and did that, improved my innocence right away. But even though I did that, it's still like, I guess the Michigan Commission had to do their research and use my evidence against theirs and question me and go to trial and all this stuff that we had to do. And I had to deal with the public scrutiny of it. I can just say that when you're somebody who's dealing with that, just know, don't let what people are saying or doing, get to you. Did it stop?
Oh, no, it's good. Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, don't let what people are saying or doing get to you. Just do what you have to do. Prove your innocence. Get your lawyers, and stand up for yourself. I hear people say all the time that silence is the best response or something like that. Some stuff you have to respond to. Some stuff you have to defend yourself on, and that was one of those things. And I've always been like a huge advocate for myself. I've always stood up for myself, defended myself, and always spoke the truth. Whether the truth hurt or not, I've always spoken the truth. And that's what I continue to do. And I'm not I'm hoping that me and the Michigan Commission can work together moving forward, because WADA, who tests for the Olympics, which is one of the highest in sports, WADA testing is 150 nanograms is a positive test when it's marijuana. I had 3.0 nanograms. That's not even half a puff of weed, of marijuana. So therefore, it was like, so what, I just needed to just and get it out the way. I was really confused by that. But hey, hopefully we can get together and we can do what's right to protect the athletes and different protocols. I think that me testing positive for marijuana, I personally feel like before they go blasting it all over the world about marijuana or a positive test, I feel that they should keep it private first till I'm able to prove my innocence or not prove my innocence. And then once it's proven, then you put it out there. Hey, this person tested positive for marijuana. This is the suspension. But everything to me was done prematurely. It was done premature. And honestly, it felt like an attack on my reputation and my character. And when I spoke with the Michigan Commission, they said that it wasn't. And I said, well, that's not what it felt like. And hopefully moving forward, we can work together and get some of these things changed. So I've been in contact with them, and hopefully we can get something done before July 26th.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good that you were able to prevail through that and prove your wrongdoing, because a lot of people that run into those type of situations, they they aren't able to do the same in the way that you were able to. So that that's the good thing about that.
Yeah.
Through all that, like I said, you prevailed. You've stamped your name as the only person to be 3-division undisputed champion. Over the last few fights, you've also showcased a lot of power, I feel, at this weight class. You mentioned before saying that this weight class is contributing to your power. Do you feel like being at this weight has made you more powerful, your punches more powerful, or is it more so just focusing on your technique and sitting down on your punches?
Give me 1 second. Sorry. Hold on.
All good.
Okay, sorry. My best friend called me like 3 times. I'm like, what the hell, girl? Stop. What'd you say?
That's all good. Yeah. So yeah, I was talking about your power. Just
Yeah.
in these last few fights, you showcased a lot of power,
Yeah.
especially at this weight class. Um, do you feel like it's this weight class that has kind of allowed you to do that, or is it more so about you kind of focusing on your technique and sitting down on your punches?
I think it's a combination of all three. Me sitting down on my combination, me focusing on my punch placement, me slowing down my punches, and also being in a weight class that I'm supposed to be at. Before I started fighting at heavyweight, I was walking around at 183, 185. So I was losing 25, 30 pounds just to get down to 160, just to get down to 68. Now, I walk around at 83 and I get down to 175, and I still feel strong. Like, I'm not saying that I didn't feel strong at the other weight classes, but I definitely maybe was losing some muscle going down to those weight classes. But I was doing it for like the history and the legacy. So I didn't mind it. And I won all those fights unanimously without getting knockouts. But I definitely have to put some respect on my power up at heavyweight. You know, not only myself, but everybody else too. Put some respect on my power at heavyweight. Like I am punching very, very hard. I'm still fast. I'm still very, very skilled. Defense on point. You know, still pound for pound number one woman fighter in the world. And honestly, up at heavyweight, I'm scared for these girls to fight against me because they're gonna get caught. And some girls can get caught and get back up, but some of these girls are gonna get their lights put out, especially if they come to the fight thinking that they're stronger and that they're a better boxer than me, and they just come with their skills not up to par. They're gonna get hurt. And listen, it's the hurting business, and I don't mind hurting nobody because either me or them. But I think it's a combination of all three. I make sure that when I punch now, I land on all four knuckles. I make sure that you know, I'm sitting on my punches. I make sure that I'm just really just using my skill to navigate the punches and slip punches and counter. And I am telling you, I am very dangerous right now.
Absolutely, and you've proven that over the last few fights. Um, let's just talk a little bit about um, possibilities for the future. I think you may have teased a little bit about wanting to fight again this year.
Yes.
Um, is that actually something that is a possibility? And why are you trying to fight 3 times in 1 year?
Honestly, I want to fight 3 times this year because I've wanted to fight 3 times for the past 4 years, 3 times a year, and I haven't been able to. I've only been able to fight 1 time every year. And I want to give my fans something to look forward to. So to be able to fight twice is great, but to be able to fight 3 times is even better. I feel like I'm in great shape and I'm prepared for all that to go all these rounds, and that's what I want to do. Um, next year, I will be taking off for a little bit, personal reasons, and maybe I'll talk about those at another time. But yeah, it's things that I want to do in my life that I want to give my fans what they need this year. So when I take off next year, they can be, satisfied, and then I'll come back.
Okay, absolutely. And last thing, just the last question before I leave you here. Um, Last time, at LCA you had Dej Loaf, in Flint you had Papoose there. So I mean, I know I don't want to spoil the surprise or anything, but is there somebody that you're thinking of having an artist coming out with you, or is that something that we can expect to see?
It's gonna be a great walkout, a great promotion. I think that we'll be announcing who's supposed to be there. There will be performances, and there will also be another great walkout, of course. Um, it'll be all type of performances, man. Gonna be performance in the back room while I'm padding up. Be performances out there before the main event, I believe, and then of course I'll have a great walkout. Listen, it's gonna be so many celebrities in the house. I can't even count. Everybody had gotten back to me already, like, "Hey sis, we're gonna be there supporting you," and there will be some big announcements within the weeks, but yeah, we're going to have some of the biggest artists there, and there's going to be some great performances, and then of course you're going to get a great fight.
Absolutely. Well, we are looking forward to it. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fans looking forward to seeing this fight on July 26th at Little Caesars Arena. So I just want to thank you for your time, champ, and good luck.
Thank you, appreciate you.